crazy, Malin. I'm not crazy, Malin. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. 40 years.
Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
Got lots of love, love. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Memories. Memories.
welcome back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss. Look who's starting it all off, it's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through from Peyton. It's just going to solidify everything from Mythos.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're going to be able to find these shots true.
Idu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an athlete immediately goes back to fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2, 3, so back and forth.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back, CGL. You know, you'd think it's week 3. Nah, it's week 2 still here in our NAPC Open tier. We've got ShikiCAHmi versus OOKA, brought to you by Fiat 500, hashtag ad. Shadow, are you ready to get this one rolling?
I am absolutely ready for this. I hope the team with the meme name over here, this Fiat 500, OOKA, can really back up that fantastic name and team logo that they have.
Yeah, I mean, it's a, well, masterclass would be very strong word, but I'll say masterclass in branding. I love it so much, but that is not what we're here to talk about, right? This matchup here, week 2, had to get pushed back a little bit, was supposed to be our match for Saturday Night Overwatch. Got delayed, had some problems, but now we're here still playing on the week 2 map pool, I believe, beginning with Oasis here. But yeah, it should be a pretty good one here.
Yeah, I have to imagine this will be a pretty solid game to watch. Both these teams undefeated. They're looking to continue on their undefeated streak, go to 2-0 and keep their championship hopes alive, if you will. Get up in those standings early for this for the open tier.
Yep. So, now that this game has been delayed for 2 or 3 days, let's get a look at them. Got our rosters coming up here very, very soon. For ShikiCAHmi, we've got Fifi and Dan Twist on the DPS, Natfish on the tank, and Moonglow and Dawn to Dusk in that back line. Pretty good roster. ShikiCAHmi's calling all heroes roster. Gonna look to continue their undefeated streak here as they look at OOK.
Yeah, I mean, here's the roster from OOK. Brought to you by Fiat 500, hashtag ad. We do have to say the full name every time. It's in the branding. You got Aurelus and Tars on that DPS line, Limitless, Zexo2K, and Penguin SF on that support line. And I honestly have to imagine we'll see probably a good chunk of the heroes that they have pictured here as their favorites as well. I've seen a ton of Ashe in the games I've been casting lately.
Yeah, I mean, Ashe is just super reliable, and I don't know about this composition specifically with the double, sniper plus the Winston, but I can imagine we'll see at least a couple of these heroes as we get into Oasis, which, Shadow, it's a pretty flexible map, We know that, it's a pretty good dive map when you go over to a map like City Center, and then Rush is pretty good on both of the other maps, on University and on Garden. That's the one. And I wouldn't be surprised to see anything, especially because we are still on a pretty fresh patch. D.Va getting that nerf was absolutely disgustingly broken. The most broken I think I've ever seen anything was that D.Va Juno comp. But I don't know that we'll see a lot of D.Va. I think she's still good. But what are your thoughts?
We could potentially see some Diva. I've actually seen a decent bit of Diva in some of the other games I've casted, as well as a lot of Ramatra, actually. A lot of Ramatra, seen some Winston dive, typically on Oasis, actually. So, yeah, the Winston could potentially come out, but both teams could just opt into that Ram mirror that I've seen a lot as well.
Yeah, I mean, Rush is still very, very good. I mean, Ramatra is just old reliable, right? He's kind of become the tank that if you don't know where to go, just go Ramatra, right? So it wouldn't be surprising at all to see a Ramatra come out here. But as we get ready to head into Oasis, we will see what the ideas these teams are going to come out with. And our first sub map will be City Center. So if we're going to see a dive, I imagine this is where we're going to see it.
Yeah, there's a strong potential to see like the Winston Tracer Sombra or Tracer Ash as well. That's another combination I've actually seen a good bit, so I'm not surprised to see that get locked here from the side of ShikiCAHmi. And it looks like OOK, they're going to opt for the Diva variation with the Juno Brig over the Kiriko Lucio. So there's an interesting alteration between the two comps.
Yep. It's going to be a lot of speed and pressure put on by Limitless on this Diva with the help of Zexo's Hyper Ring. So as we get into this map, we will see a difference of ideas in how to run the dive as ShikiCAHmi get to the point first. Natfish looking to establish the positioning on the point, while OOK, they're going to rotate over to this high ground, control that, try and let Tars have free reign of the place. Fifi and Aurelus are just going at it in this backline right now as the fight begins on the high ground and Natfish just explodes. Aurelus able to find the first pick of this map, and the rest of OOK will be able to follow up.
I mean, basically OOK just got firm control over that high ground, and ShikiCAHmi wasn't really able to push into it and do anything. You know, a lot of that damage getting eaten up by the Diva of Limitless, and you can see Zexos almost to their ultimate already on this Juno.
All right, yep, 75% to the orbital. As some nice shots in from Dan Twist. Those in that dynamite puts their opposing number on fire. Now getting taken under pressure, under fire by Aurelus, who's just waiting for someone to come out so that they can pop him. Gonna jump in back onto Dan Twist. Immediately right back out. Does not want to take that fight, but Fifi does. Finds the pick on to Tars. Now prowling the point, trying to find someone else as the orbital drops in from Zeno. That gives the damage boost, that gives the healing, but it's not going to be enough for OOK as ShikiCAHmi are able to blow right through it with the Primal Rage of Natfish.
I mean, just a really great engage from ShikiCAHmi to get better control of that high ground in that fight, and you're really noticing like Tars wasn't able to do too much that round on the Ash. Meanwhile, Dan Twist already up to this Bob. You got a sound barrier and a Kitsune rush though when you need to re-engage when you need to re-engage here with ShikiCAHmi.
All right, now OOK just waiting for all 5 players to, come back together, join up, hold hands as they go back to this point, get into this fight. 4 ultimates in the hands of ShikiCAHmi, 4 in the hands of OOK, but Limitless getting kind of low in the mech, get some healing from Penguin and Zexo as Aurelus rotates around the low ground. It's going to be a hard engage here. Fifi opens the fight up with a pulse bomb, and ShikiCAHmi just walk in with nothing but confidence.
I mean, great pulse bomb from Fifi and great bob from Dan Twist. Not much more to be said there. Aurelus, though, tossing out that pulse bomb a little bit late into that fight.
Aurelus doesn't get caught out, saved by traffic there. Not so often that you can say that. Fifi did not want to, go play Frogger or anything here as Limitless looks to get aggressive one more time. Gonna try and jump on to Dan Twist on the high ground. Has to back down. Half HP, has the self-destruct ready to go should they need it. And they're juggling this Lucio beautifully, but Dawn to Dusk is able to stay alive, get away from the Diva. Natfish, though, not so lucky. Goes in, gets taken down by Aurelus, and now Dawn to Dusk is on the prowl for a Tracer in the back line here as ShikiCAHmi look to hold on to this point for as long as they can. Just milk this time as much as possible and, you know, take a fight later.
I mean, absolutely great, great stalling from ShikiCAHmi. Honestly, they've probably gotten an extra like 10-15% off of this. And what's this recontest?
I mean, they're not done yet. Wi-Fi, good for 2. Tars will answer with the Bob, being annoying on this point. The orbital thrown in from Zexo. So, I mean, no matter what happens here for ShikiCAHmi, they're happy. They got 99% and some ults.
Yeah, you forced out Bob, you forced out the orbital ray. Like, you're super, super happy about that because you've still got a Kitsune, you've got your Pulse, and you've got Primal. And the way Dan Twist has been building this Bob up, I imagine Bob's going to be coming in the middle of this fight somewhere too.
Natfish now, on the other hand here, 70% for OOK. Fifi waiting to try and, you know, pop someone with this pulse bomb. Gonna jump up onto this pad here very, very soon. Now the engagement in from Natfish, pulse bomb out. It's just automatic for Fifi into this brig. No chance for Penguin to get away with it. And now 3 kills to 1. OOK are looking on the back foot here. Limitless has to use the self-destruct to stay in this fight, but Nat is able to chase down the pilot Diva, and now it's up to Aurelus. Pulse Bomb is out, gonna find maybe a little bit of damage, but as Natfish cleans up these late kills, it's gonna be ShikiCAHmi that takes City Center.
Yeah,
Okay,
well,
yeah, it should be.
yeah, you know, Lucio's can be kind of slippery, so this is going to take a minute.
All right, well, yeah, Penguin is able to flip away, stay alive, but finally backhanded by Natfish, who has popped that primal rage. Sombra comes in. Yeah, it's just desperation here for OOK. They stalled it a little bit longer, but ShikiCAHmi, you know, I wasn't wrong the first time.
No, that could have got scary if the kill onto Tars didn't come through from Dan Twist. It could have got a little scary there, but like you said, basically as soon as Tars got taken out on that recontest as well, it was pretty much just a foregone conclusion that it was going to eventually go the way of ShikiCAHmi. And I mean, that was really just ShikiCAHmi having that stall fight that we mentioned earlier, forcing out those ultimates from OOK. And then they just had the ult advantage and only had to win one fight. I mean, it's pretty straightforward and just great ult economy from ShikiCAHmi. It looks like they're going to be swapping onto this Ramatra comp, though.
Yeah, wholesale swaps from both sides. Nat going over to the Ram, Limitless this time on the Winston. So, you know, both of these teams want to try something different here on the Garden, as it will be OOK rotating over to the point. But, of course, ShikiCAHmi want control of this high ground. Such a powerful position on this map. A dive going to come through, but Dan Twist has removed Aurelus' head here. Limitless is in the back line all alone, trying to find something, but with everybody else falling to the wayside here for OOK, ShikiCAHmi are going to be good for this first fight.
Just great shots from Dan Twist. The Ashes in the games I've been watching recently have just been completely in control of every single fight, and it looks like that's going to be the case again here tonight. I mean, my goodness, what nice shots.
All right, ShikiCAHmi with control, but with one player down, it's going to be a rough next couple of minutes here for them. You see Tars from this off angle, a big anti there onto Nat, but great defensive wall there from Fifi, who I don't think they don't have the ice block to get away from the dive there. So nothing going, a nice little whip shot there to deny the dive for a couple of seconds longer. And as Dan Twist returns to the fight, they're able to stall out. They went down 2 players early, but ShikiCAHmi are going to hold on.
And again, I just said it a second ago, the Ashes have just been like server admins in these games this week. I don't know what's going on. Like, people just eat their Wheaties for week 2 of CGL, I guess. And that was a pulse bomb from Aurelus, I think.
Yeah, one more for Dan Twist. The Ash for ShikiCAHmi. Now at 60% for ShikiCAHmi. OOK, they're going to build up to 4 ultimates for this next fight, but ShikiCAHmi haven't used any themselves. So it's going to be a 5 versus 4 ultimate fight here as ShikiCAHmi crosses 70%. The engagement going to come in from Limitless, jump over to the other side of the choke, and without Limitless in the fight, Nat going to get aggro, but another great wall there to save the life of the Ramatra for ShikiCAHmi. The Winston still in the back line. Primal Blade popped there. Limitless gets rid of one, gets rid of two. Juggling across the universe is this Winston. Limitless gonna be able to get rid of this Brig as well. Maybe, not quite. Gonna grab that mini health back as ShikiCAHmi going across that threshold to get to overtime, and okay, are finally gonna find their feet planted on this point.
Yeah, it was pretty expensive there to take that fight, but I mean, you'll definitely take that if you're the side of okay. You're gonna be wanting to watch out for this blizzard from Fifi, though. You can't let your backline get caught by that, or it's round over and map over.
Still, though, the ultimate advantage in the hands of ShikiCAHmi. Very, very heavily, I might add, and that's a beautiful ante to start the fight out from Zexo as the Blizzard comes in and gets rid of Limitless. Beautifully timed there, no chance at escape for the Winston. Now rally in, and Nat Puzzle goes for a swim in the form of an annihilation. I mean, that was as good a response to Limitless's death as there could have been.
Oh yeah, absolutely great response from this brig of penguins. Penguins been having themselves a map so far. You gotta watch out for Dan Twist though, having this bob on the recontest.
But Fifi has put an icicle squarely in the skull of Tars. They called out Aurelus. It's gonna be a nice little stick there. Unfortunately, Fifi had that ice block. Now Limitless has to grab this mega or mini health pack rather. And unfortunately, with no cooldowns, there's no chance for the Doomfist to stay alive. And as the desperation grows for OOK, ShikiCAHmi will take advantage. The rally raid boss is not going to be enough. Unfortunately, this isn't 2017 Brig as much as that Nano would have you believe. There's just going to be desperation touches in here from Tars and from Limitless, but this orbital strike is going to spell doom for any stragglers from OOK, and ShikiCAHmi gonna grab Oasis.
I mean, really dominant performance from ShikiCAHmi on that second map. They seem to really know what they want to do with that Ramatra comp. And a great showing on the dive as well, map 1. The dive was a lot closer, though, I'll say. Some great shots. No.
Sorry. My internet up. I'm not there, guys.
You know what?
I did a magic trick.
It's
Sorry,
all right.
I didn't hear anything you said. But
no, I was just saying,
guys.
yeah, no worries. You know, NA production, you know how that goes. There we go. We got you. You're back.
All right. Can you recap what you said again real quick, Shadow? Because
no, I was basically just saying that ShikiCAHmi looked really strong on that Ram comp, and I think that the OOK is going to have to figure out how to respond to that on King's Row, because, you know, what else would you be running on King's Row besides a Brawl comp, you know?
I mean, I don't know that it's as, I think it's a little more, you know, up to interpretation. Especially with modern King's Row. I still think the Ramatra is probably the best choice at this point. But it doesn't seem like OOK has, you know, really wanted to lean towards a rush comp just yet. I wouldn't be surprised, but what I really do expect from them is to still come out on this Winston comp. Because, you know, they had their moments, right? Unfortunately, their moments came when ShikiCAHmi had 4 ultimates in the bank.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you're proper. It's going to be really damn hard to win a fight if the other team has 4 ults and you have 1. So OOK just needs to be a little more consistent and be able to actually fully follow up on the dives, because that was the biggest point of inconsistency I think I saw, is that, you know, the Winston and the Tracer, they were often together, but it kind of felt like they were off by like a split second, and it cost them.
It can definitely be really crucial. You got to be on the exact same page with what you're doing when you're running those dive comps, because, again, we saw several times where, like, I would see a really sick ante go off, but, like, the timing wasn't quite there to follow up with it a lot of times, so... Yeah, I can definitely agree with what you're saying there.
Yeah, and I mean that's something that Ana really does, provide, right? Nano Boost
Mhm.
is like all well and good, but a well-placed anti, that's just on a cooldown of what, like 12 seconds, I want to say, something like that.
Hmm.
That's a fight turner. If you can get 2 or 3 people with an anti-grenade, and that's kind of why people like to run Ana, is that for one, anti is very, very strong.
Yep.
Nano Boost is a great engagement tool, and she can heal from a long, long way away. And I think that's also kind of why people want to play Juno as well. Is that Juno doesn't have to get up in the face with the speed boost like you see a Lucio would, right? You can play from this, you know, talking about King's Row, right?
Hmm.
Point A, you can play from the very far back high ground with no fall off to the healing.
Yep.
I don't know that Ana and Juno with a Winston is necessarily the move, but I guess we will have to see if they're going to come out on the Winston or the Diva like we saw early on. And yeah, you see the Diva, but they're still on the Brig.
Yeah, we're seeing Diva, Brig, Juno, and then the Echo coming out as well. It's interesting too because it looks like Fifi's going to come out on this Pharah. So, okay, okay. I'm kind of curious how Nat's going to be playing this. I guess they're just going to kind of exist really hard on Ram, just be like a wall for people to have to walk past. Because other than that, I don't really see the synergy here.
I think this is just a moment where I think they understand that
Hmm.
this Diva comp is going to be really, really fast, and they know that, and so they're just going to say, hey, we can't really match the speed with a Ramatra. Let's just let them come to us and, waste their speed boost. And as we get into this point, Limitless going to rotate around this Mundata statue, try to, get those cooldowns out of Nat early. And it's Nat. Oh, I thought Nat was going to be able to avoid those sticky grenades, but walk back across the shield, took a bunch of damage there. And now OOK is taking their space very, very freely here. Can they keep control of this high ground? The answer appears to be no. Orlis burned to a crisp there, as much as metal can burn on that Echo. But it's going to be a great answer here as Tars cleans the head off of Fifi. Now, ShikiCAHmi, without their main splash damage, they're going to have to back up here. As Fifi going to go over to the Mei as well, but Natfish just trying to control this space as much as humanly possible, but with Orlis and Tars both clicking heads, controlling space is not easy, and ShikiCAHmi, you're just going to get pushed back across the choke.
I mean, what can we say? Great first pick there onto Fifi by Tars, and then Orlis coming in, getting that extra snipe off. But it looks like we're popping an orbital ray here.
Yeah, orbital out, but of course it's Orlis removing the head of one more player. Orlis just taking over the lobby, and Fifi is able to get rid of them, but Tars trades it back in 5 minutes in the hands of OOK as they get into streets.
Yeah, I mean, crazy shots from Orlis. That's the power of a one-shot Widowmaker. So, you love to see a good Widowmaker just really start to. You can see their influence on the lobby. You have to play so differently when you're going up against that hero. There's going to be an orbital ray available for ShikiCAHmi though, so I have to imagine that they're about to engage with that and potentially maybe like a Bob as well.
All right, shots out. Nat has the Annihilation ready to go as the sights get popped. Orlis not quite going to be able to find the shot there. Finds a nice little body shot there on to Wi-Fi, who has to back around the corner. They are very wary of this Widowmaker's presence as Wi-Fi drops their orbital ray. Bob going to be removed, but it's Fifi taking over this fight with the help of the orbital ray, and even with the hyper ring, the Diva cannot escape.
Diva does happen to get demeched there. Doesn't look like they're going to take down the baby form, though. They're going to just let them get on back to spawn. Orlis also has swapped on to Hanzo off that Widowmaker. And right here, ShikiCAHmi, all they had to use was that orbital ray, and now they have their other 4 ultimates. So it's like you talked about map 1. What's OOK going to be able to do walking into 4 ultimates here? It's going to be a really tough fight for them to try and take in their favor.
They've still got time as they engage once more. A nice little wall there. The Blizzard gets rid of Penguin. A bit of a juxtaposition there as Penguin freezes, but a great answer there. A kill on to Natfish is going to put OOK in a great spot to win this fight out in the end. Bob is going to come in from Dan Twist, going to push OOK up into this choke, and even with the death of Nat, Bob pushing them forward means that OOK has a good shot at winning. Can they get rid of Fifi? The answer is no for now as the rally comes out from dawn to dusk. Fifi falls. Zexo forced to drop the orbital strike for the healing and the damage boost, and they're going to be able to push ShikiCAHmi back for the moment.
Great response there from both ShikiCAHmi and OOK. It took a lot for them to get that first corner taken, but they finally did, and now we've just got annihilations going against each other, but this orbital ray might be the fight turner for ShikiCAHmi, unless that happens.
Okay, but Tars is able to get rid of their opposite number first, and now the annihilation aggressively from Limitless, and Nat just sat back there and watched it all happen.
I mean, yeah, great shots from great shots from Tars there. It's the same thing that I've seen repeatedly in these matches. It seems like the Ashe fight is dictating the way the fight's going to go more often than not. Like, whoever's better sniper just tends to end up winning.
Well, as we get into C here, OOK looking like a brand new team revived here. The Hanzo in from Aurelus, trying to find some shots. They're just going to kite this annihilation. The Hyper Ring, very, very annoying, but they're able to avoid death at the hands of Nat. They were able to escape the annihilation. They have a Bob here as they throw in Dragon Strike. Not going to find a kill or any really space control, I guess. Just a little bit too early. Now the orbital strike comes down from Wi-Fi. And one more time, it's just a beautiful kite there from the side of OOK. And Tars escapes, gets rid of Fifi with the dynamite. Just a great job doing what they need to do to get away from what's dangerous.
I mean, yeah, again, like you said, all they did there was just, wait a minute,
Well,
Dan Twist taking out Tars.
Dan throwing out Bob as well. I mean, Limitless just trying to tank as much of this Bob damage as possible, forcing ShikiCAHmi back because Nat isn't in the fight, and now they're just going to wait for their tank to come back.
I mean, great kiting from both teams, honestly. And Fifi, this Blizzard needs to be big time.
All right, well, Aurelus goes down, may not even need to use the Blizzard here, as OOK is just going to back up as much as possible. But I'm sure there was a wall there behind Limitless that denied that rotation. Is OOK just gonna back up and die?
Yeah, that was one very long, prolonged fight. Teams just retreating back and forth from each other, and I imagine we're going to see something like that again, because all the ultimates that are online can be kited if you run away fast enough.
All right, well, now Fifi holding on to this Blizzard, has a beautiful wall. This would be a great time to use it, but they let Dawn to Dusk go down first. Penguin is stuck in this Blizzard, but it won't be enough. Just a little bit too late with the ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, I think exactly like you were saying. As soon as that wall went up was probably the moment to hit the Blizzard, but as soon as that orbital strike came out, there was just too much healing to even get a kill through the Blizzard. And now you got Limitless probably just going to walk in with this annihilation.
Natfish and Wi-Fi have an ultimate of their own coming into this next fight, as the orbital ray going to come down at the hands of Wi-Fi, who just gets popped in the mouth there. Aurelus and Tars, these DPS for OOK, slamming the door in the face of ShikiCAHmi as they set off the EMP at the end of King's Row. A beautiful push there.
Great round from the side of OOK. Just capping with any time in general you love to see. So 26 seconds, now you're at least guaranteed another round no matter what happens, if ShikiCAHmi were to finish. So you love to see that. The double sniper comp just really dominating, and it really doesn't seem to matter whether Orlis is on the Widow or the Hanzo. They're really just popping off and getting these picks fight after fight after fight. And just, yeah, I mean, great round from OOK.
Now for ShikiCAHmi as they begin their attack, I can't imagine that they change up a whole lot. Yeah, they're gonna stay on this. I imagine Wi-Fi just go in this Mercy for a little bit of early pressure. But having said that, I actually really do think that Mei is in a very, very good place right now. But in order to get value off of her, you have to be, you know, really tight with it. You can't let you can't let yourself get loose and put up a wall, wait 2 or 3 seconds, and then throw down the blizzard like we saw earlier, right? Fifi will be on the fair though for this attack. It appears. I don't know if they're gonna stay on this Mercy. They are in the attacker spawn, but Orlis and Tars are dangerous.
Yeah, very, very dangerous. If Fifi is going to play this Pharah, Fifi's going to have to play their corner super, super hard and just try and spam from a spot that they might not be able to see them too well from. Just dance around this statue, maybe.
All right, here we go. ShikiCAHmi looking for their opportunity. Dan just getting absolutely bullied from the high ground there by Tars, but going to answer with a nice little shot of their own. A tick not quite given up just yet. Will go over to them. Not quite, actually. Just a brief touch there right as they were about to cap a tick. And Penguin able to dispatch of Dan early. So now with the aggression still coming in from ShikiCAHmi, they know that they've got spawn advantage. They really just want to keep forcing this.
I mean, they're probably just going to have to wait for Dan to come back. You really need that Ashe damage if you're going to be able to push through all this healing.
All right, now Nat popping that Nemesis form one more time. Fifi able to clean up and follow on the damage. Able to get into that window, stay alive. It's 2 for 2 as Tars keeps them at sea level, but not quite able to kill everybody, unfortunately, though it seems like they've been able to do that all game. But ShikiCAHmi will be able to take point A here.
Yeah, not too much time off the clock either, so you know you'll have to see it. Tar's taking out Dan Twist. Now that's a little tough. That's probably going to give away this first corner for free.
They're gonna. No, I actually think that they're gonna go up and try and hold the choke here. They're gonna, you know, they're on the defense right now. Limitless is going to be trying to hold this angle as much as humanly possible, or I guess as much as omnically possible on this Ramatres. Tars with the jiggle peaks, just absolutely giving themselves every opportunity they can to hit the shots they need as the orbital rays gonna come down from both sides. It's gonna be 1 each as Fifi good for 2 in this fight. Make that 3 for Fifi. Limitless going to be answered with 1 more, but it's not going to be enough to keep OOK in this fight. You've got to get away.
Yeah, Limitless shouldn't have a problem getting away from this, though. The extra speed with the Ram, it makes it really, really easy to get out of this. Orlis just in spawn, pestering Fifi, it looks like. So that was an insane looking fight, though. All the colors, all the crazy stuff just going on. Big ult fight about to come in now.
All right, Bob's entering the fray, but Dan Twist is the first to fall. Both Bobs are in this fight, but the fight is taking place away from the Bobs. Dan Twist is only saving grace is that their Bob was able to kill Tars's Bob, but with Orlis being an absolute menace in the backline, killing both supports, this fight will belong to OOK.
Yeah, I mean, Oralis's little spawn battle back there ended up having fruit, and Tar is getting the pick on Dan Twist again. I mean, my goodness, these two Ashes are just like back and forth, just killing each other, and it's really awesome to see. I love it when Ashe is in a good spot like this.
All right, Tar's hitting some great shots. I love the jump peaks and the jiggle peaks from Tars. It makes pulse bomb out. Orlis not quite able to find the target there. Beefy stuck to the ground from the Ravenous Vortex as the ring comes out from Zexo, who's very, very close to an orbital ray here. 2.5 minutes on the clock. Fifi, 95% to the barrage, but Dan Twist falls first again. However, Tars is the trade. The rally from dawn to dusk gets a couple of stuns there as the orbital ray is the answer. Fifi needs to find something with this barrage. Fifi needs to stay alive, able to get around the corner away from the damage boost of that orbital ray as it fades away. Wi-Fi has one of their own in the later ultimate. That usually spells something very, very good for the team that uses it. The kite, though, coming in from OOK. They're going to be able to get a late touch here with the Annihilation engagement here. Now another kite, this time from ShikiCAHmi, trying to get away from the Annihilation. Natfish, very, very low, but Dan Twist finally able to get revenge on Tars in this fight early. The Brig being pressured. Penguin has to back away. Nah, Limitless, very, very low, gets a little bit of healing, but it's not going to be enough as Nat and Dan are able to clean up this fight and grab the point for ShikiCAHmi.
And Dan Twist probably finally takes that fight against Tars this round, and it couldn't have been at a better time because that gets you point number 2, and you're not stuck in such a hard spot to get through. Orla's going to swap onto that Widowmaker, though, so watch out for this. They were getting a lot of picks last time they had this character out.
All right, Orlis, very, very good. So is Tars, for that matter, but Fifi still holding on to this barrage. Dan Twist and Tars. Dan finally getting theirs. Able to come alive when it matters the most. Nat has this Annihilation, but hey, you called him out. Orlis able to find Dan Twist here early. Now OOK have decided to just regroup in spawn. They do not want to let this point go all the way through, though. Now Bob just goes and joins their Omnic brothers in the underworld there. Now the orbital ray gonna be a nightmare for Nat. Fifi has this barrage ready to go. Do they even need it? The answer appears to be no, especially with every single ultimate being thrown onto the ground there for ShikiCAHmi. And with the orbital strike, with the rally, with the Annihilation, with the barrage, can you believe that's enough?
I mean, it's just the story of the game so far, you know. ShikiCAHmi always having like 5 ultimates in their bank somehow. Also, like, we need to like clip that last like 10 seconds and just send that to someone that hasn't played Overwatch in like 4 years and just be like, yeah, this is what it looks like now.
I think that would kill a Victorian child.
like what even was that? There's so much going on in this game right now. But
there's not enough,
great,
I think.
Yeah, right. Great round from ShikiCAHmi though. If OOK can get like a point and maybe like almost to point number 2, I think that's probably about what you're gonna need if you want to take this map. So they're gonna need to you probably want to see Orlis pick this Widowmaker again and just try and get a couple of early picks. I think that's gonna be your best chance of really trying to get this point far enough to win this map.
Yeah, I mean, and now with OOK being back on the attack, they're gonna favor the D.Va one more time. Tars and Orlis, they've really liked their variations of the double sniper composition here. And now ShikiCAHmi back with Fifi on the Mei on the defense. We will see if they finally tightened up the gameplay here to lock OOK out as we get into extra rounds here on Kings Row. We'll see who's going to bring this map out. Limitless on the D.Va, rotating around the Mondada statue. You see Orlis from the hotel trying to put some shots into the backline there, not quite able to find or remove anybody. Fifi now under a lot of pressure, gonna get rid of that Mei, and the spawns are going to favor OOK here. Fifi taken down. That's not a good sign. And now this D.Va jumping up with the hyper ring onto the backline of ShikiCAHmi. Where is Dan Twist that they're getting so much pressure up there with the Brig, I suppose. Dawn to Dusk able to keep their Ashe alive. Limitless may not be so lucky. Able to stay in mech despite the piercing punches of the Ramatra Nemesis form, but Limitless will finally lose out on said mech as we hit overtime. Limitless is down. Orlis is gone. and everybody has fallen for OOK as ShikiCAHmi lock down A.
Great defense there from ShikiCAHmi. The big play was, like you mentioned, when the Diva of Limitless tried to dive that high ground and take out Dan Twist, and Dan Twist just getting pocketed by the Brigida of Dawn to Dusk, and they just weren't able to get that kill, but they also traded their mech out in the process. So, that was pretty much just the round in a nutshell right there. They couldn't break that one high ground push when they really tried to push it, and no point capture as a result.
Yep, and now facing a monumental time bank here of 2 minutes and 13 seconds. OK can't give up a tick. And now we see Orlis, who's been on Tracer, who's been on Hanzo and Widow, going over to the Mei. So, I mean, they understand how strong Mei is on these defensive positions. I guess we'll see if Orlis can handle this like they've done this so well on all of the other heroes they've played thus far.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see an exact mirror match here for, I think, the first time today. This is an exact mirror. So that aspect of it will be pretty fun as well. Orlis just hiding in the statue, as you do, Probably looking for an early Mei wall.
All right, here we go. ShikiCAHmi looking to clean this up. OOK want the draw. That's the best they can do. Natfish walking around the statue, of course. This Mei looking to cut him off, and they will. Nat pops the Nemesis form, but is so very, very low. They get rid of the wall. They're able to keep Nat alive, and Limitless is the one that gets punished. And Orlis is just shoved into a locker, metaphorically, literally, every single way that you can think of shoving somebody into a locker, Orlis just did. And because of that, ShikiCAHmi just takes the map.
And there you go. I mean, oh, how the turns table right there at the last moment. That was, that was not, I can guarantee you that's not the way Limitless thought that was about to go. That's the counter wall coming up, and then just a quick kill on the ram, and Orlis just kind of succumb to their fate right there, getting trapped in that statue.
Yeah, this match has been close, start to finish.
Yeah.
You see the 2-0 scoreline on Oasis. Doesn't really tell the story. That map was still super close. The scoreline of 4-3 rather on King's Row. That was a really, really close map. Unfortunately, OOK, as we've kind of seen them throughout this series, they kind of just fall short in the ice moments, Yeah. They are just winning fights consistently when ShikiCAHmi just has a bunch of ultimates and they use a bunch. And now moving forward in this series, they're going to need a reverse sweep. Luckily, they've got a chance to take a bit of a break here. And when we come back, we're going to be on what I consider, currently a swing map right now. It's going to be Throne of Anubis. So when we come back, we will talk about Throne of Anubis, and we'll see what OOK can do if they're going to stay in this series. So stick around. Should be a good one.
Water is the softest and most yielding substance, yet nothing is better than water for overcoming the hard and rigid, because nothing can compete with it. Lao Tzu.
Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Right now, ShikiCAHmi up 2-0 over OOK. Brought to you by Fiat 500. Hashtag ad. Okay, now facing down the barrel of needing a reverse sweep here, starting on Throne of Anubis. What you thinking, Shadow?
I mean, I'm thinking that OOK did reverse sweep the team that they played last week, so I see no reason why they couldn't potentially do it here too. Both of these early maps have been very, very close so far, so they just need one fight, 1 to 2 fights to go in their favor, whereas they didn't on the first 2 maps. And we're looking at a completely different series going into map 3, 4, and 5. So, it's close series regardless of what the scoreline says.
Yeah, really, really close. I mean, you see 4-3 on Kings Row. Both of those points on Oasis were 99 to like 94, 95. It's been a good one thus far, despite the 2-0 scoreline at the top. And I mean, I expect it to be something similar here on Throne of Anubis. I still don't know like many teams, don't know like what the best plan of attack is on Throne of Anubis, right? It's kind of hard to say because the map's been in rotation for like a month now, and in competitive, like, you know, official matches for even less time. So, you know, something that you'll notice, like we saw with Flashpoint for the first little while that it was in the map pool, if teams are going to start on and, you know, gain some momentum on any map type, I think it's going to be Throne of Anubis just because nobody really knows what they're doing.
Yeah, it's just a big guessing game for both sides. And I do think that the diva compositions tend to fare better on this map. So I feel like that's got to play in the favor of OOK just because Limitless really, really wants to run that diva consistently, it's looked like.
Yeah, and I think that has, you know, both helped and hurt them because when you see the diva go in, usually that diva is going in with only the help of the speed ring. It's a great time when your diva's out of the fight to jump in on the backline as we see the substitution coming in from OOK. Cringy Milk coming into the lineup here. So we will see if that is going to come in and change anything for this OOK roster, what they want to do. I don't know that it'll change that much. We're not going to see the double snipers, I imagine, that we saw on the first couple of maps there.
Right.
But maybe Cringy Milk is just the better, you know, dive DPS? Maybe?
It might just be like a tracer thing. Maybe Aurelus and Tars are both, like, Aurelus is good at tracer and hit scan, but Cringy is like, I'm the tracer person. Like, this is what I do, you know. So maybe that's what we're going for, and we're gonna see Aurelus swap onto that Ashe because I see no reason why Aurelus wouldn't be able to do that too. Because that's the only reason I could think you would bring Tars out. Because I thought Tars was doing a great job on that Ashe through the first two maps.
All right, Throne of Anubis. Look at the big guy right there, looking all scary and whatnot and what have you. But now we're going to look at our lineups. Limitless and Nat both on the Junker Queen here early. Aurelus hovering the Tracer. It's going to be a bit of a Jotzi comp there. Speed kills for OOK. ShikiCAHmi doing something interesting, though. They are still on spawn, so I don't know if that's what they're going to fully roll out on, but could be fun.
Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna run with the Juno Lifeweaver, I mean, yeah, fair enough. That's what we're gonna do. And then from the other side, like you said, okay. I can't wait to see Cringy Milk play this Genji. Genji's always fun to see played well.
All right, here we go. Throne of Anubis, point C, the first, as always, meeting right in the middle of the map. Aurelus jumping onto this backline, immediately dipping out to try and, you know, turn them around to get them looking at the Tracer. Right now, nobody really taking a whole lot of damage. Dan Twist taking up the Pharah duties from Fifi, who's on that Genji themselves. Still a little while in this fight. Nobody has gone down yet. Both shouts recently used by the Junker Queens. And still trying to find something. A nice little knife there into the side of Limitless, who will be the first to fall, pulled away from the cover of the pillar. And it will be ShikiCAHmi going to be able to grab this first point.
I mean, yeah, the ShikiCAHmi just outlasts the side of OOK there. Really crazy ult build from Wi-Fi though, so they're gonna have this orbital ray ready to go for point number 2, and there's no way that OOK is gonna be able to be ready for that.
All right, Penguin, go just chilling out at the choke, waiting for a re-engagement here as the point unlocks in just a couple of seconds. Limitless finds the Martian. Wi-Fi the first to fall, and ShikiCAHmi left reeling on a point D. It's going to be OOK able to take this fight, and more than likely this point.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much going to do it for that point. and still no ultimates used for either side. So this next fight's going to be the crazy one, where both teams are going to have 4 to 5 ultimates available, depending on how fast these last ultimates tend to build. So I think the advantage is probably going to have to go to OOK, though, with them having the Kiriko Suzu available.
All right. One more time, 4-point. See Orlis under a lot of pressure by the... Wow. Some great tracking there, Dan, trying to keep it in check. Now the Rampage out. It hits 4, but it will not be enough to keep them up. I say that. It is a 2-for-2 trade. The bleed damage onto Cringy Milk, good for Nat there, who has a Rampage of their own, and now it's Wi-Fi under so much duress, and Fifi and Wi-Fi have fallen. It's a 3 versus 1 on this point, becoming a 3 versus 4 versus 5. Everything going the way of OOK. They're gonna grab C this time.
And I mean, yeah, that's the Kiriko advantage. I feel like there. And ShikiCAHmi really didn't get to use a whole ton of their ultimates, but you see Dan Twist swap onto this Venture here for this next fight, though. So I'm interested to see how that's going to work into this Queen comp.
All right. Yeah, just pops into the ground, does not really do much. That was an accident. Orlis just gets destroyed by a Venture popping out of the dirt, and I mean, just like that, before the point even unlocks, ShikiCAHmi have taken the fight and definitely going to take this point here to even the score one more time.
I mean, not really much to say right there. Orlis swaps off the Tracer, going for the Echo pick now. That was a crazy little, like you said, accidental kill there from Dan Twist. You get the point for free. Don't even have to pop any ultimates or anything.
Right, Nat with this Rampage ready to go. OOK only have a couple of ults of their own. This is going to have to be a big beat from Penguin, who will not use it against this blade. Fifi's blade goes away, and the sound barrier not used, so still... I mean, the Rampage came out as well. They don't have to use the sound barrier for either of those impact ultimates, and now re-engaging, they have all of the momentum in the world. Fifi's so damn low, taken down, and Natfish left alone on the point. Only Wi-Fi and Nat left. Dan will return to this fight, able to get rid of Cringy Milk there. The TP comes through, a little bit of damage there. Dan Twist has come in and changed this whole fight, taking out 2 alone, pops the Tectonic Shock, and Dan will go down, not before helping to take down a Limitless. Fifi returns to the fight. Unfortunately, you can't deflect the focusing beam. Wi-Fi laughed. I mean, this is a crazy time to use Orbital Ray. It's just a Brig and a Juno. Dan Twist will return to this fight, but it won't be worth it to even throw themselves at the point, as OOK grabs C once again.
That might have been a little bit of a mistake from Wi-Fi. That's the only ult ShikiCAHmi has on the board, and now OOK has Rampage, Copy, and Kitsune Rush. It's going to be difficult for OOK to not win this next fight here on point B. They just have every advantage in the world.
All right, now the dupe out from Orlis, going over to the Junker Queen, going to have 2 Rampages very, very soon. 80%. Can they take out Orlis? They get rid of the dupe before it matters, but the Rampage comes out from Limitless, and there's nothing they can do about it. They don't have a cleanse. They don't have a beat, and OOK are going to lose out on a couple. Fifi keeps them in this fight. It's just it's just Fifi left alive here as OOK look to put themselves on map point here. Will there be a touch?
Wait a minute.
There will be a touch.
Yeah, it's looking like we're going to have a contest here.
Okay, Nat going to get pulled onto the point here by Gracie. They're trying to take care of Orlis. Nat very, very low. Has to use the shout, but it will be Dawn to Dusk that falls first. And with the Kitsune Rush from Zexo to be, you know, it's more of a period than anything else there. Just put it away as OOK are on map point.
Yeah, I mean, great ult usage from Zexo, though. You got to make sure you take that point. And now all you need is the 1 tick if you're OOK. But you can also give this point back up if you really, really need to.
All right, and that fish getting aggressive there on to Cringy Milk. They're pushing OOK back for the moment. Fifi's Dragon Blade, good for 3. 6 pieces left behind Fifi there, and now ShikiCAHmi will be able to grab their home point of A and head back to B.
And now it's getting a little bit interesting. ShikiCAHmi only had to use that blade. They've got their 4 other ultimates available for this next point. If you're okay, you might just want to force out some more ults on this point and then go for it on the last point. It's a little bit risky, but you might need to do that to build your ults up.
All right, Tectonic Shock in the hands of Dan Twist, going to pop out of this burrow. And Penguin, the first to fall here, cannot get up to that sound barrier. But I think that OOK knows that. They're just taking this dry fight to see if they can get anything out of OOK, but at least they build up to these ultimates.
Yeah, they do a really good job of getting up on their ultimates. And with them having the Kiriko on their side, I do think that still gives them a massive advantage over ShikiCAHmi in this next fight.
They're going to touch here. They're going to keep this one rolling as Orlis goes over to the Venture, immediately dispatched, but Wi-Fi is the first to actually die in this fight. And now this rally needs to find something more than it has, and it won't. The Rampage going to come out, only going to hit Limitless. And now, I mean, it's a very, very heavy fight favoring OOK, and they've still got ult in the bank. It's just Wi-Fi left. The Lucio thrown up into the sky, buried under the dirt. OOK, there might be another touch, but they're in a great spot here.
Oh, last second touch does come in. I don't know. This Tracer's going to have to touch. There it is.
Tracer will get the touch. Rampage comes in from Limitless, but it hits 4 on the Rampage. No answer from ShikiCAHmi. OOK cap out on point B, and they're going to win Throne of Anubis.
Great map from OOK. You love to see the fight, and this, I mean, this happened with their match last week. They started a comeback, and you know, we could be seeing that reverse sweep coming into play again here. Still got to go through 2 more maps, but this is a close enough series. I believe anything.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said it before the match, or the map started, right? Throne of Anubis and Hanaoka right now they're swing maps.
Mm-hmm.
They're new. I'm not really sure still what the optimal play is on these Flashpoint maps, but I think it is a really interesting point to have, like, in a preset map pool. I think having a map like this at, you know, map number 3, you know, where you could be down 2-0 is a very, very interesting place to have it, because it can be a launching point. If you can find the momentum here on map number 3, on a map type that nobody really knows the full extent of how to play, you could snowball this. And OOK was already running this series very, very close with ShikiCAHmi. Is this what they needed to get over the hump?
It very well could be, and I mean, you were just mentioning it a second ago, but they take Clash right there. Now we're going to Flashpoint, Saravasa. They could very well come out on this Junker Queen comp again if they really, really want to. You know, I think the Queen with the Lucio Kiri does really, really well on the Flashpoint maps, so you could just continue right along that same trajectory and see if that's going to work for you.
Yep. So we will see. I mean, what I think I like the Junker Queen. I do. I do. I think that, you know, it's been a while since, you know, Junker Queen was like proper viable, but for a long time she was just the best tank on this map and on New Junk City, right? So, I mean, we both saw, right? We all saw that Throne of Anubis was a Junker Queen mirror. I would be utterly surprised if we don't see the same.
Absolutely.
I expect a Junker Queen rush.
I would also like for ShikiCAHmi to mirror the Kiriko as well. I think that was really one of the biggest differences on that map, was having the Juno Brig versus the Lucy Kiri, and you just not having the cleanse for that Queen Rampage. It was just, you were seeing Limitless get a lot more kills than the other side there with ShikiCAHmi.
Yeah, and I mean, Limitless just positioned themselves in a great place to get big value out of those Rampages consistently. I mean, even if the side of ShikiCAHmi, you know, had the cleanses, I don't know if they would have been ready. And I mean, that I think is what really pushed OK over the edge was the creative Junker Queen play. And like you said, the Kiriko, I'm talking about it like it's not a big deal. It is. Don't get it twisted, right? Kiriko still very, very strong. The cleanse, very, very good. Now on New Junk City, do ShikiCAHmi recognize it? I mean, this is fully speculation if they're going to play this Junker Queen composition on Suravasa. Do they stay on the Brig Juno? Do they go to Lucio Kiriko? Which I believe in a Junker Queen mirror is just the better comp.
I mean, yeah, sound barrier. You got sound barrier and you got cleanse, both of which I think deal with the queen ult very, very effectively. So it's just when you have, because rally, I don't think deals with it quite as well, unless you're able to time the queen and just shield bash her out of the rampage, which is also a whole thing in and of itself.
I mean, rally is a great ultimate, but it's not a defensive ultimate. Right? It is an ultimate that you use to engage a fight, not sustain one. Yeah. If you use it before a fight, it can be very, very good to keep you up throughout the fight. But that armor, that overhealth doesn't build up enough. And as we see it, ShikiCAHmi are going to be on the Junker Queen. Limitless actually going to be on the Diva here as we get into Suravasa. So maybe ShikiCAHmi think that there's going to be the Junker Queen mirror, but not quite going to live up to those expectations as OK get to the point. But Dan Twist has removed Zexo first, and just like that, blink of an eye, ShikiCAHmi grabbed this first fight.
I mean, once again, the server admin has returned. Dan Twist on this Ashe, just popping off, getting those picks, and there's another one onto Aurelus. I mean, you got to be able to deal with this Ashe. You cannot just let them pop off and get all these picks like this.
It's still looking for something. Not quite going to be able to find a kill there for Dan just yet, as OOK rotate all the way around. The shots are still good. Zexo takes a headshot there. Limitless needs to be careful with that mech as low as it is, and it's going to go down. Fifi dashes right through it, but Aurelus and Cringy Milk are keeping this fight above water for the moment. There's a couple of very, very low players as Cringy Milk continues to put on a very, very good show on this Genji, but will it be enough? That is the question. Gonna go down, as will Aurelus, and ShikiCAHmi gonna be able to grab this fight.
Oh, we're seeing the pause come in for OOK. Something I wanted to mention right then was that Limitless did finally swap onto that Junker Queen, so it might be a little too late for first point to get flipped back in order for the side of OOK, but you are going to have the Queen for the rest of this map most likely, so we'll get to see that mirror again that we mentioned previously.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure once everybody goes down, they're just going to wholesale swap. But, I mean, going into that, I mean, I think that Diva's... I'm still of the opinion that Diva is still an A-tier tank right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Junker Queen, I think, in the context of this this matchup right now, I think is just better. Both of these teams want to play super aggressively, but only one of them is playing a composition that can be aggressive with the team. The Diva composition, I mean, it can be all right. You can dive with your Genji, but it's a little bit less consistent on that team aspect.
And I mean, I mentioned it already, but Dan Twist has to be dealt with on this Ashe in some capacity. They're getting too much value while the side of OOK is trying to cross. Like right here. Just look at all these shots they're hitting right now, getting all this free damage off.
Just going to back up as Limitless takes the shout. They're going to be able to get the touch from Aurelus. Overtime begins. Limitless pulled back from the Gracie. Cringy Milk looking for something, anything. Aurelus has a pulse bomb ready to go as the orbital ray comes down from Zexo. It's going to be good for Nat early. Did not quite build up to that rampage, but Wi-Fi is able to answer with a trade. Cringy Milk and then the Kitsune rush. Fifi needs to go down if OOK wants to be able to take this fight. And now you see Aurelus in this backline looking for some annoyance there, and Limitless not quite able to find the axe there on it to the Ash, who just used the coach gun to get back and away as Natfish waves us as they re-enter the fray here. The sound barrier from dawn to dusk, but
All right, fair enough. I guess you pop the sound barrier there if you really need to. You know, why not? I guess.
I mean, they thought that the fight was still going, but
Yeah.
OK just got off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a certified C9 right there, if I've ever seen one. You do manage to get the sound barrier out though, so you can't be too mad if you're okay. You swap super late there, you get the sound barrier out, and Limitless still doesn't have this ultimate up yet. You gotta watch for this blade though from Cringy Milk here.
Orlis looking for something with this pulse bomb, but Dan Twist the first to fall. The Dragon Blade pulled by Cringy Milk. The Rampage comes out. That damage will not be enough as Penguins gets the cleanse out. Zexo not going to be so lucky as to stay alive, but the Dragon Blade plus the cleanse going to be enough.
Yeah, great first fight there from OOK. And you managed to save your Kitsune, your Rampage, and a Pulse Bomb. And ShikiCAHmi only going to have that blade up. So this is going to be a tough fight for ShikiCAHmi to try and take here.
Limitless with this Rampage in the wings here, looking for the opportunity. There will be an answer this time in the cleanse, but the Rampage comes out. It hits 3. The cleanse only good to get rid of it on to Wi-Fi, and unfortunately, if there's still 2 people that are hit by that, it's not a good thing.
Yep, great Rampage. Great work not using any other ultimates too from OOK. They're gonna have Kitsune Rush and Pulse Bomb still, so like they're looking in really good shape to take this point pretty easily.
Like Kitsune Rush from Penguin to just be the dagger as they're gonna even the score here with Limitless just ripping through damn near everybody. 3 for the Junker Queen on the side of OOK, and they will even up the score here.
A great fight take, and it was in such dominant fashion. The ShikiCAHmi's not really close to any one of their ultimates, just Pulse Bomb, but they're almost dead even with everyone from OOK, and they've used ultimates a while ago at this point. So like, Aurelus, watch for Aurelus and Dan Twist. The 2 Pulse Bombs, the only things that are available here in this fight.
Natfish and the rest of ShikiCAHmi from this high ground. OOK looking to take a fight through the choke point that is this door. For the moment, Pulse Bomb out does not find a target there for Dan Twist. The axe not going to find a target, but Wi-Fi so very low. Going to get taken down. Bleed away there by Wi-Fi as it looks like Dan is a little lost in the Tracer duel against Aurelus. And OOK are able to keep up in this fight and grab the first flip here on Palace.
Just, I mean, absolute dominance, quite frankly, from OOK since they swapped onto this Junker Queen. They seem to just have a really good idea of what they want to do. We're seeing Fifi swap over to the Mei. We're actually seeing a swap as well from Natfish to the Ramatra. So they're looking for a more sustainy-esque sort of composition here with the Brawl, as opposed to the just full-on send it with the Queen.
All right, Limitless. 78% now to that Rampage. Looking for just to stay alive up here mostly, as the beautiful knife there puts Fifi in a really bad spot. Are they going to be able to get rid of this Mei? Sound barrier out in response to the Kitsune Rush. Dawn to Dusk throws one out of their own. The Rampage from Limitless only hits Nat. Can they even up the score? There will be no tanks on the field here. Cringy Milk's Dragon Blade not going to find a target. Now it's up to Aurelus with this Pulse Bomb to find a target. Does find Fifi, but it does appear that everything else is going the way of ShikiCAHmi, as they're going to be able to grab this flip in overtime.
I mean, great fight take for the side of ShikiCAHmi, and you managed to build up your ultimates in the meantime. So really all you're running into is a Kitsune from Penguins. So Penguins is going to have to position this ultimate super well if the side of OOK wants to take this point right here in this next fight.
All right, Dan Twist with the Pulse Bomb in their pocket, waiting for the engagement here from them at the moment. fighting from the backside of this point. Not going to be able to find the swing from Carnage there. Now the Kitsune rush in through the door. Going to be a hard fight here for ShikiCAHmi. Now the shout out, the speed boost abound for OOK. Cup runneth over for the moment. Pulse bomb out from Dan Twist, not going to find a target. Will end up getting punished for it. But now the Blizzard out here as the point goes over. There will be a life here for the rest of ShikiCAHmi as they grab the rest of this fight up, take the point back.
Yeah, there should still be another contest from OOK, but you might just have to give this point up. Maybe they'll go in, try and force out a couple of ultimates from ShikiCAHmi, but it's most likely they're just going to back off of this, I'd imagine.
Wall is out, no touch in from OOK. They're just going to try and take this fight. Are they going to take this fight? That'll be a good question here, as you see that Orlis wants to take the aggression here. Can they force anything out? The answer is going to be no. They're just going to lose out just outright.
Yeah, this Ramatra May swap has just proven to be really difficult for the side of OOK to deal with. And I think it's just the extra tankiness of Natfish on this Ramatra. The OOK is having to dump so many resources into trying to kill this Ram when they're holding their hands up and just trying to block everything, that it's just taking away from them being able to kill anybody else from the side of ShikiCAHmi.
All right. One more time here. The first flip going to be able to belong to OOK, but the first pick in this fight belongs to ShikiCAHmi. Wi-Fi puts a well-placed kunai in the skull of Zexo. One more for the Kiriko. As the Rampage comes out late, it's not going to be enough to turn the tides of this fight for OOK. They're going to be able to grab about 30 or 40% here on this point, and it's going to belong to ShikiCAHmi.
I mean, honestly, that could have gone a lot worse. If you're the side of OOK, you do manage to get like that 34% because you got that cap early. Limitless going on to the Maga here. So we're seeing Maga and Torb coming out from Auralist. So they're just pulling out all the stops here as OOK trying to get this map win on Suravasa.
They only have the sound barrier. Now the aggression comes through, and the sound barrier is wasted a little bit there by the May wall. They're going to be able to get rid of the Orlis turret there as the Annihilation comes out. There will be trades. Nat for Limitless. 50% now for ShikiCAHmi as Fifi drops in and dives out of Blizzard. The Blizzard Ajax.
Oh, man, I don't think I've ever seen that before, if I'm honest with you. That was a great shot from Orlis. And we're seeing Natfish immediately swap on to the Sigma. Fifi coming out on this Pharah. Yeah, this is probably the right play here. You can't tank a Maga, so much smarter play here to go for this boat comp.
Now one more chance here for ShikiCAHmi before OOK grabs this point outright. Penguin has the Kitsune rush ready to go. Good, they want to get aggression, but Zexo falls. Dan Twist on the Cassidy. Gonna be able to grab this first fight now, throwing out that kinetic grasp in the face of the Kitsune rush. Yeah, this is not a great fight here. They use everything that they've got. They're gonna lose out as Dan Twist continues to click heads. Now there will only be one more opportunity for OOK to even up this score.
And I have to imagine some swaps are going to come out. It might just be too difficult to play the Maga into this and still get value. But yeah, okay. I guess OOK is going to opt to go for this. I think this is really going to be on Cringy Milk. Cringy Milk has to catch a lot of bodies with his Blizzard.
And not get eaten here as the stomp going to come through on to Natfish. Does stay alive in this fight. Gets a bunch of damage, and they don't have the Blizzard anymore. Now the cage fight's out, but it's over. This series is done here. Right now, in this moment, it is up to Orlis and Penguin to keep this fight going. But, I mean, you don't have a tank. It's over. You cannot die there.
Yeah, no, that's a tough spot right there. With Cringy Milk having that Blizzard, the Blizzard cage probably would have won them that point, honestly. So That's a tough spot to get stuck in, but you know, there's more games. There's more games. You can learn from this, come back a better team at the end of it. But still, really good performance overall, though, from OOK, and of course ShikiCAHmi as well, with them taking the series.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this series was very, very close, right? It is just unfortunate. They couldn't keep up when it mattered the most in the late fights.
Right.
They just lost consistently when they were, or they won consistently, I guess I can say, when they had a disadvantage going into the next fight. ShikiCAHmi understood that. They peeled
Yeah.
perfectly. They disengaged every time that they knew that they were going to lose a fight. I can only think of one misplay with, like, one really big misplay, which was that Juno ult on Throne of Anubis late.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, ShikiCAHmi played that damn near perfectly. I think that they're going to be a very, very good team in this NAPC Open tier.
Mm-hmm.
So will OOK. They'll be fine. They're a good team. They lost a close match. They just got to move forward.
Yeah, you know, just go back, look at these maps, see what you can improve on here and there, and just kind of take it week by week at this point. You know, I like you said, I imagine this will still be a very good team, and these two teams will probably play each other again come mid-season and playoff time.
Yeah, and you know that's something that also that you need to think about. Like mid-season is nice and all that, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really, you know, matter since a lot of teams are going to be making that postseason playoff. It's just for a little bit of, you know, extra bump up in the standings late in the season. So, you know, okay, I still think, you know, they finished 3-1. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to make the mid-season tournament at this point, but they've still got a lot of season left. It's only for them. It's only week 2. You know, now it's only week 3 for the rest of the league.
Right.
They'll be fine. They'll be all right. ShikiCAHmi, though, they look good. We're going to get an interview here in just a few seconds with Dan Twist. We're going to cut it to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk to Dan about this match, so stick around. All right, welcome back, everybody. We've got Dan Twist with us here for ShikiCAHmi. Dan, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty good.
Awesome. Y'all improved to 2-0 in the season, make a really good case for y'all to make it into that mid-season tournament. I mean, Shadow, do you want to start us off with like an actual question?
Yeah, sure. What do you think was the biggest factor in your dominant performance here today in this series to really just take it? What do you think was that biggest factor?
I felt like my team really shot our guns like a lot better. I think you could talk about macro and micro and everything, but at the end of the day, Overwatch is a shooter game, and we were just like shooting very well.
Yeah, I guess that is fair enough. So, you know, I'm not really sure what y'all were doing when D.Va was absolutely busted, but now that patch has kind of come through, like, we saw y'all on a bunch of different comps. Like, where do y'all think that, you know, y'all are gonna lean towards as this meta, you know, in quotes, continues to progress?
You know, I think we're just gonna go wherever this meta takes us, whether that be Ashe, Mei, Ram, Juno, Brig, or if that's something insane like Ashe, Mei, Ram, Juno, Kiriko. Just depends on how scrims feel, but those comps are feeling pretty good.
All right. Is there is there any upcoming team that you're like really excited to play? Like, see, like you've been scrimming them and it's felt like, oh, this is going to be a really tough game for us. We need to get up for this one. Is there any team like that on your radar right now?
No, not really. I don't look at the teams or the matchups. I just kind of show up. I just scrim. Actually, I don't really scrim. I actually coach ShikiCAHmi. We're looking for a hit scan. So any hit scans that look good, got good hands to shoot, let me know. You got to be CAH certified though.
All right, well, Dan, it was nice talking to you here. Congrats on the win tonight. Looking forward to seeing how y'all play throughout the rest of the season here in Stage 1. Do you have anything else you want to say before you head out here? Any shout outs or anything like that?
No, shout out my girlfriend for being great and amazing.
All right. Thanks, Dan's girlfriend, for being great and amazing. And thank you, Dan, for talking to us. And thank you all for watching here tonight. Shadow, before we head off, do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I think we've about said it all. You know, we're up here yapping for a good bit.
Yep. Well, that is, in fact, our job, believe it or not. But that job comes to a close now. So thank you all for watching. Not sure where the rest of the week is going to look like, but we will be back for sure on, I want to say Thursday or Friday. Hey, well, yeah, I just got notification that, hey, we'll probably be here Wednesday through Sunday. It's going to be a great week, a lot of CGL to play, so we hope to see y'all in the next one. Have a good night, y'all.
Peace.
We'll be right back.